You know,
you want to take the intro?
I gotta think about what you say. You say it every time.
You don't have to get it word for word. Just
welcome back.
Welcome to the show. And then,
hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scot Trot podcast. That's what you do?
Yeah.
I almost feel awkward doing it.
Say today
I'm getting nervous.
Interviewing. Da-da-da.
We're flipping things around a little bit.
We are.
Yeah. All right. We can do that. Sure.
Okay.
Just ready? Whenever?
Yeah.
Just start. Just go? All right.
I've been going for the last 30 seconds.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Well, another cold opening, I guess.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Scots on the Run podcast, where we take a behind-the-scenes look at everything with the Gordon cross country and track and field programs.
Close enough.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm leading us off today because it's been a while since we've had a podcast, and that is because we had the Scot Trot 5K. We also had Rachel Brennan running at Pre-Nats, and our very own Ben Schneider was a participant in our Scot Trot 5K. How are you doing today, Ben?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah?
Well, I noticed you noticed my Flyers gear when
That's right.
I came in, so I made the colossal mistake of staying up all the way through a 10 p.m. start time game in Edmonton. So
Yep.
I went into overtime. The Oilers ended it very early in OT. So I was up until about 1:15 or 1:30 watching the hockey
Just to
game,
watch
but,
your team lose in overtime. That's the worst.
Yep. They didn't pick up a point, though, so at least they didn't lose in regulation.
So we'll start with a little tangent. I'm from California, and you think about it, like Monday Night Football starts at 8 p.m. out here. It starts at 5 p.m.
Right.
I know sometimes like you get back late from work or whatever, and you miss the first little bit, but there's something really nice about a professional sports game, like a game that you want to watch, ending about like 8:30, and then just being able to just chill for a bit before you go to bed. Yeah, whereas here, I'm like, man, do I really want to stay up and watch this whole thing? So my wife, who's from New England, when she lived out in California with me, that is something that we put in the pros column for living on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah. So, what did we say? Did we say we want to start with Rachel?
I guess. Well, you raced Friday night, right?
Yeah,
That's true. Friday night,
That
October
was the first
4th.
race.
Yeah.
So let's start with Rachel.
So Rachel, you had a chance to go to Terre Haute, Indiana, to get a little preview of the Nationals course. This is the second time you've gone to Pre-Nats. Yeah, so for you, tell us a little bit about the trip, about your race.
Can we break it down into
Let's break it down. Let's
Okay.
do. I don't know. How do you want to break it down? Yeah, traveling out. Yeah.
I'm so getting better at conquering that flying fear. So it's getting better each time. This time, I almost shed a tear, but I think I stopped myself. So then, there's been times it's been, tears the whole time. So this is getting better.
Yeah, perfect.
We got there.
Flew to Chicago, right?
Yeah, we flew to Chicago. Honestly, I was having a big headache the whole time, so then that drive was a little bit rough for me. But I did some lesson planning, got some work done, and then we stopped at a state park to do our pre-meet, and that was nice. It's really all corn out there, though.
Yeah.
It's true, and there's windmills, and that's all that there is. So I don't know about moving to Indiana ever. I don't think that's on my list. So, but I liked Chicago. Chicago is a great place to visit.
Yeah.
And I wish we had more time.
You touched the bean.
Yeah, we touched the bean.
Oh, you literally touched it.
Yeah, and
Great.
we got a nice gluten-free deep dish pizza.
I mean, that would make sense. Beans are gluten-free. So you touch the bean, you got gluten-free. You're ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
So you did that. So you flew into Chicago, and did you drive? Did you visit Chicago a little bit?
Oh, no. We went there after the race.
After the race.
Rushed, well, we didn't really rush out in the morning. We were trying to rush out in the morning, but then the breakfast took a detour to Purdue, and then it took all day to get breakfast, so then we were rushing in Chicago.
Okay. But you still got to see the bean.
Yeah, we did get to
Good
see
for
the
you.
bean.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned something, and I do want to get to your race, but there's something unique about you this year is that, so you came in your freshman year, that was a COVID season. I mean, you guys did like a 5K time trial that year, and that was pretty much it?
Yeah.
Right? Something like that?
Races.
Yeah, but it wasn't nothing
much.
official.
Yeah.
So you're back for a fifth year. What are you getting your master's in?
Education.
Yeah. And what's different about your schedule now than what was typical your last 4 years?
It's been good and bad, I think. Well, not really bad, just different. Because I feel like I'm scrambling around a lot more. Like, I'm driving to this place, driving to that place, all over the place with that. But there's no, like, I have 1 hour of, like, class meeting on Zoom every other week. So then I have, like, really free schedule to do stuff when I need to do it. But I haven't done any education classes until I started doing my master's in education. So then I'm doing, like, the classes with people who have been teaching for, like, many, many years, you know, like, probably could have me as their kid. So then I'm, like, a little bit, I felt behind, but then I'm doing really well in the classes, and they're a lot easier than math. So I feel like it's been fun, it's been different and new. It just took a little bit of getting used to, and I think I did most of that over the summer since I had to start my classes in June. And, like, learning curve on that, like, I hit it in the summer, which was, like, not ideal, but I guess now it's working out, so I'm adjusted for cross country.
Well, that's another good point. You've been at it academically since June. Like, you really didn't get much of a break.
No.
Because well, let's see, like, Nationals was the end of May. How far after track Nationals did you have your first master's class?
I think maybe 3 weeks.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that was basically the time off you had to time off of running, and then you just you started running right when you started your master's.
Yeah, and that was like, it's just like a lot to be trying to do the recovery to the full extent while also like having to get homework done and getting a run done, and then trying to also do like fun things since everyone else is enjoying summer. And man, was it like the worst when it would be like the most beautiful day out and I had like a lesson plan due that day. Like I would just be so miserable that I had to stay inside all day.
Sure. Well, yeah, I mean, well, one, I think that's why you're great, is because you're willing to make those sacrifices. And two, I mean, like you mentioned the recovery side of things, like the time it takes to, adequately recover so that you can so you get everything you can out of the previous workout and you can get ready for the next workout. I know that that's something I've seen in you over the last, really last year and a half or so, you've taken that to the next level. And, I mean, I from an outsider's perspective, it seems like that's been, a huge factor to your continued success.
Yeah. Now, especially I'm I know I'm not getting older, but my body is starting to feel everything way more than it did when I was like a freshman. And so like if I don't actually get all of it in, I feel so miserable on every run. Like,
you can feel it.
Yeah, so
it
like kind of took over me now. I have to do it. No choice anymore.
Well, and bringing this back to pre-nats, again, you've traveled for a few meets now over the last few years, and then this will lead us right into kind of actual race day. How have you made adjustments in preparing for, again, the recovery, the pre-race prep? What have you learned in terms of how to prepare yourself, knowing that you're going to have to be out of state, you're going to be flying, that type of thing?
Yeah, I think that it took, like, kind of getting everything done. Like, I got everything done school-wise by, like, that Tuesday, because I was like, this race is important. Like, if I have to turn something in late, like, we'll tell the teacher, but I got most of it done before, so it wasn't, like, a problem. But they're really willing to work on that with me, so, like, I could turn it in, like, Sunday instead of, like, rushing to get it done on Friday. But just making sure I had everything set up, like, got all the grocery store stuff ready, because now the gluten-free lifestyle has taken over me, so I kind of have to, make sure everything's set up for that.
Yeah.
And then, like, oh man, I spent, like, probably, 6.5 hours of, like, recovery before that race that week, and, like, made sure that was the priority over everything else. That and, like, getting the sleep in, getting all the vitamins and stuff, like, because I just felt like that was one of the key races we had, so like I needed to see how well I could prepare, because I always say like I want to like get rid of every excuse possible to do bad, so like making sure everything was in order was like my number one priority. But yeah, so I think like definitely like making sure he always talks about like our process is lined up, like I know, like, when I have to take an Epsom salt bath, when I have to take an ice bath, like, that's all lined up in the week and it's planned out beforehand so that everything else kind of fits into the schedule of the running now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I love that you said that. I think that's really, I know for me as a coach, and I think that's what we're kind of looking for, is people who kind of have that mentality, right? That come in and say, here's my practice schedule. Here's what I need to do to recover. Now, how do I fit in, friends and, some of that other stuff that's a little bit more flexible. Obviously, class schedules are what they are, but
yeah. I think also doing everything right most of the time does give you a little bit of leeway if, like, you did have something come up for school, like, say you had to miss, like, this one day of recovery, then, like, you've done it every day so well that, like, you do have the opportunity to be able to do, like, take one day for something that comes up secondhand, I guess. Right.
No, I think that's a great point. If you're doing the right things 95% of the time in that, small window when things get in the way, it's not going to make a massive difference if you miss that, if you stretch for 5 minutes instead of 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever the routine is, right? So tell us about the race. Take us through the actual race. What'd you think of the course? And then how'd you feel and how'd the race go?
It was a really good course, I think. Like, we watched the video earlier in the week, and I thought it was going to be a lot more hilly than it was. It was more of, like, inclines, I would say, if anything, which is good. I think that is something that I feel confident running well. So I, honestly, running the race, I was, pleasantly surprised, during the race that it was, pretty good to run fast. It was just dark. And, have, wicked bad eyesight at night with, just depth perception and, I have, astigmatism, so I can't see when the lights are just, blind me so bad.
Oh, man.
So I was, a little bit offset with that, but it was still good. Most of the time it was fine. And there was, enough people around to, where you're going. So that was good. I just had, not an ideal lead up food wise. I tried to prepare really well for it, but Indiana is not really known for having gluten-free
good whole foods.
Yeah. So think we might have got a little gluten in the meal the night before because my stomach was quite a mess that day. And I was pretty nauseous before the race, which I don't ever have happen. But that's okay. The warm-up didn't go great. Wasn't feeling that great before the race, but I was just praying that I would be able to do whatever was enough for the day, enough for what God wanted out of the day, and that it would still lead to the whole plan working out well. Just because I feel this season I worked a lot in the summer on praying about what God wants out of the season, and I have pretty big goals for myself, but I wasn't fully believing them. But I asked God over the summer if these are things that He wants for me to help me to start believing them, because without believing them you're never going to be able to do them. And I recognized that was the case. So I really feel throughout every workout I've started to see at the beginning of the year maybe I can do this, and it all started to come together really well. So all that to say, I had bigger goals going into the race, that it would go a little bit better than it did, but I left the race feeling just as confident, because I just feel that because I have to believe that God is showing me that He wants me to do well, and He wants me to do big things this season, that a little circumstance can't deviate my faith too much, because no matter what happens, it shouldn't change the fact that I do believe that God is setting me up well to do something big. So I left that race feeling still just as confident, because I know that I can hang tough, and even on a tough day I can still do really well and run well with those girls. And I feel that it went really well. The beginning of the race, ideal, right where I wanted to be, and it's just a little side stitch sometimes gets you right. And I feel I was able to hang pretty tough in there, and I know that I wasn't at my best performance level, but I still think that I can still run with those people, and I'm hoping that this weekend at Con College I'll actually get to have a good day and actually get to show that to myself. But even if that's not what happens, I still don't have any less confident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm taking notes as you were talking here, because I'm just going down the line. Like, think about all these things. Your pre-race food caused you to have some nausea, which made the warm-up tough. Again, you're trying to go gluten-free, which you got Amorous on, by the way.
Yeah.
And so, the nutrition wasn't ideal. The warm-up wasn't ideal. You've got a stigmatism. You probably could barely see the ground you were stepping on. And then you got a side stitch, which I don't know if I've ever heard you say that.
I've
Maybe,
never had one before. It's my first time.
Well, I just, you had all those factors pretty much going against you. You still ran very well. You got 7th overall. And I also wanted to say, because you brought it up, and Coach Luco was telling me, he specifically said, you got to ask her about her growth in her faith, that and how that's kind of taken shape in a different light this year, because and that's what was great to hear you say that is, in those moments for a runner, you have all these things going against you. It's very easy to get in your head and to lose confidence and to say, I don't belong here, to get out slow and not attack a race. But, you went for it. You were still up in the lead pack, the first K in for quite a while. I mean, I think it really wasn't until 3 or 4K that, things really started to stretch out a little bit. And frankly, as someone who's been here the last, 2.5 years in senior race, I've just seen that to be incredible growth for you. Particularly this year, it seems like you've gotten to that level where there is that trust in the Lord, there is that trust in your own ability, and that you're confident that the chips will fall where they may, and that's going to be good enough. And that, it's a beautiful thing to see, that you left that race just as confident. Because I don't know, Rachel, I don't know how you feel, but I think 2 years ago, if you didn't PR in a big race like that, I think you'd be, you might be in your head a little bit, So let me just say how proud I am of you to see that growth.
Thanks.
Right? But segue into Ben, another person I'm pretty proud of.
Yeah. Well, you want to shout out Carolyn?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Well, Rachel was here.
Carolyn was there too, right?
Yes. Carolyn was definitely there. She got 80th in
23:02.
Yeah, I mean, that's not too far off her PR.
Really close.
I was going to say, only
like
maybe,
22nd?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think 22 high, 22:41, 42, something like that. So, given that, and Carolyn's another one, again, that when you talk about athletes that you're really proud of, she pretty much cross-trained almost exclusively, like June and July. And I don't even know the details of that. And that's just it. We're talking about what a great athlete truly is and what that looks like. It's someone who's willing to, even when it's tedious, Coach Luco said he probably would have gone insane if he would have had to put in all the pool hours that Carolyn did this summer, but she did. And because of that, she came back, she ran really well in her first 6K at our home meet, and then she came back and was able to have a really, really good race at Pre-Nationals, which, again, when you go to a big race like that, you got 2 racers in there and they both leave with confidence that, hey, we're ready to come back here and do something special in a few weeks. That's exciting. And so I appreciate you bringing that up, because we had Carolyn on the podcast after Pop Kroll, and yeah, I'm excited because, you kind of had that nerves, midway through the summer, they tell you, hey, my hip's bothering me. I've been, so it's just you just never know. And so to see her work as hard as she has, and to have these results, it really does go to show you, man, this sport is truly about, are you willing to get in the hours necessary to be better, right? So, and so, again, now there's you, Ben, who ran in this year's Scot Trot, which is our annual 5K at homecoming. I think the Scot Trot course I really love it. I've never ran it. I'm facilitating the meet, but what'd you think of the course? What'd you think of your race?
The course was good. It's definitely faster, I think, than the official.
Yeah, the 5K. Yeah.
But 5K layout. But Yeah, it went pretty well. I hit my main goal, which was just go faster than last year. The stretch goal was beat Luke's Battle of the North Shore time, which was 21:03.
Yeah.
And then we figured, well, if I'm going to run a 21:03, you might as well try to go under 21, right? So you set me up for
20:59.
20:59.
We're trying to get
came
you
up
in.
a little short of that. But,
What'd you end up getting?
21:36.
Okay.
So I think last year I was just trying to go under 23 because
You just showed up.
Well, yeah, I enjoyed my retirement for a couple years after I graduated, so it took me a while to get back into. Yeah. And I don't think I'm ever going to be back into like top shape like I was when I was running on a team or anything, but was just going to go out and kind of see where I was at, and was thrilled to run like whatever it was, 21:41, 42 or whatever, and then I saw my mile split was like 7 flat or 7:01, and
the whole time.
Then your reaction's like, man, I wish I had a few more seconds, but we shaved them off this weekend, so that was good.
That's right. Well, anything you do different in your race?
Potentially. I don't know. Jeff Carpenter passed me. Just before the mile mark, I think. And I thought about just trying to
hang with him.
Yeah, but
Did you see what he ran?
I did not actually.
I'll have to look that up.
I took a picture of the. I feel like he was in the mid 20s. Yeah, mid to low 20s. But yeah, I quickly realized that. And Ethan Minyard was there as well.
I think high 20s.
He passed me even before Jeff did. But yeah, I think probably would have burned out a little bit had I tried to hang with them.
Well,
but Ethan was 20:48, looks like, and Jeff was behind him at 20:52. So they were right.
Yeah. If you would have hung with Jeff, that would have been spectacular. Well, now I remember what I was going to say. We've got you. Yeah, you jump in on intervals with the team. Rosie, who we just added to our distance coaching staff this past month. Corden still gets after it. We used to have Ethan. He did. I love that you guys do all the running so that I don't have to. We got plenty of distance. We got 3 distance coaches. They all jump in with you guys, and it's nice to be able to be the guy that hangs out by the track and is passing out waters when you guys get back, right? But no, I'm really glad that we got coaches that are active and still like to run alongside their athletes. It's a lot of fun. So, anything else, Ben?
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah,
just good to be back out there again, and this is the one race I still get every year. So
we gotta get you into something else.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. My sister's getting married the day before our home track meet, so
that's right.
Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to make.
Yeah, we should get in the 1500 or something.
Yeah,
maybe a steeplechase.
Yeah. Well, she's only going to get married once, so it's kind of important that I be there for that. I think.
I hear you.
Yeah, we'll see. We can figure something out or keep something in mind for next year, maybe. I don't know.
For sure. Well, last thing I'll say is, I'm sorry it took us so long to get another podcast episode in. It was tough going from Brown Bear Invite to Scot Trot, and then we just had a recruiting weekend this past weekend. So it's a busy time, and certainly grateful for Rachel, who's incredibly busy getting her master's and still trying to run at an elite level. So grateful for Rachel being on here, and grateful for you running the 5K this year. So how do you usually end it? You say, see you next time?
Yeah, see you
on
next
the Scots
time.
Run
Thanks for
podcast?
listening. Yeah.
There you go. Done.
All right.